Hey guys, good to have you. Thank you for your introductions. Hopefully that you can go through. We don't have a big class, and that's a good thing in a lot of cases. That you can kind of get to know. A few people put some videos up there, which yeah, I think you can probably get to know people a lot better, especially virtually, rather than texting back and forth. Communication is an interesting thing, and how people interact. And it has a lot to do and will affect your management, of course, which is the main thesis of this class. Um, I apologize for being so casual today, but it's a Saturday morning, and I just ran in here and I'm doing a few things, and I just wanted to make a little check-in video and talk about what we did last week. The quiz, it was basically just to kind of give me an idea where you guys stand as far as personal finance. We're going to use personal finance as a stepping off point to business management. And you'll probably, throughout many of my videos and some of the context of the assignments, is that ag, whether you're farming, ranching, or you have some other hospitality type enterprises locked within those things, they're nothing more than business. So what I've found over the years and years of being in business is that you just apply business principles. And one of the things that I've hired managers to actually um, operate different sections of my businesses, and if they don't have their personal finance life in order, it really makes it very difficult for them to run my business and take ownership in what they're doing. So that's the rationale behind that. I would really appreciate any kind of feedback, good, bad, or indifferent, of your thoughts on that, before and after and during. So be sure to give me that kind of feedback. In the past, it's worked really well, and the big benefit is that a few of you mentioned in your comments and your introduction that you wanted to get something out of this class that actually you could use. Well, you're going to be able to implement some of these tools and skills, from the get-go. So there's that benefit too. Just to give you a little bit of a background on me, I've been around agriculture all my life. Was raised on a cow-calf operation up in western Montana, but moved on from there, became a teacher 30 plus years ago. Have run 4 or 5 different businesses, have failed and have succeeded, and so I bring that to the game to a certain extent, and I'll share parts of that as we go through. If you want to know more about it, I'm more than willing to extend that knowledge base onto you with more specific questions if you have them. So we're going to jump off into personal finance and using the Dave Ramsey curriculum. That's why I'm having you order that material. And you may have even gone through it in high school or with your parents or something like that earlier in life. But one thing I found out is that the first time through, most people don't implement. So this is a chance to catch up most of you that didn't implement, if you were exposed to it. And maybe a few of you haven't been exposed to it at this time. So some of the feedback I've gotten in the past is that, why don't they teach this in high school? Well, actually, especially over the last few years, they do. And that's been a great thing. But sometimes it's just the first time. Maybe it's kind of like, well, I don't have anything to employ this new tool on, and that sort of thing. If you're in college, you have to manage your finances. That's just the way it is. Welcome to the real world. So the one thing is, when I get you, you're already involved in that. Probably have had some failures and probably have had some successes, and we want to just move the bar a little bit so that you can enjoy yourself and so you can do some other things. I mean, if you got a passion for farming, if you got a passion for cattle, if you got a passion for, the outdoor recreation business that you might have on your place, so you can put your energies that in those places. But you got to start from the bottom, or to build on it is more of what I want to talk about. This week, we're going to talk about missions, and I've got a whole bunch of videos. I have also this book right here as a required book, and textbooks. I've never been one to actually. While I was in college and after, textbooks have been kind of a thorn in my side. They're really difficult to read. This one's not a textbook. It's one that you can learn from. It should be kind of interesting because you'll see yourself. It's like a mirror as you read through the pages, especially if you have any business experiences. And so hopefully it's an easy read. It's not, it's the language in it isn't anything exceptional or anything like that. It's fairly simple. There's lots of pointers in there that you can take with you and run. You may not have it at this point, and I understand that, but you can catch up. You can perform everything that we're going to talk about this week just by watching the videos and the lessons. So don't make that create some chaos in your life. Go through the videos. We're going to talk about missions, okay? And that's the very foundation of any business. That you've figured that out. And we're going through it with our department, actually. So it's an interesting study for me, going back to it again. And it's one we formulated about 5 years ago. Everybody said, all right, we have a mission. And then we took off and we went to work. And we really didn't revisit it. And mission statements, especially at your point in life, and actually every business and that sort of thing, are meant to go back to. I mean, there's a good chance that you won't end up doing what you're thinking about doing right now. So that would definitely change your mission. So don't think of it as a failure. Just learn in the process in that thing. Go back to it as much as you need to, weekly at this time. Am I fulfilling my mission? Is my mission my mission? Should be some questions you're asking right now. And as you go through this lesson. Next week, it might change. Okay? I'm almost 60. My mission hasn't changed a lot. It has changed, but it's not going to change in the ways that it might change for you. So don't let that be a reason for inaction and establishing a mission. It just gives us some focus, that mission does. And then we can create some measurable goals. And that's where we're struggling in the department, the agriculture department here at Casper. It's like we wrote a bunch of goals out, but they weren't measurable. That was 4 or 5 years ago. And it's a great, anytime you work on this kind of stuff, it empowers you. So we're going back and we're rewriting some goals that we can actually measure. And I'm not going to talk about goals a whole lot, but I want you to keep in mind is when you create a measurable goal, usually numbers is objectively, the majority of your goals can be that way, especially when you're talking about finance and management. I mean, net income, maybe it's, in your case, your personal mission or personal goal might be to increase your salary from point A to point B. It's a number. So don't be afraid of numbers. Put it down. It's just a target. and it's one that you might miss it. So, I mean, recalibrate and move on. That's what it's about. So, my check-in videos are not going to be this long in the future. At least that's my goal. So we're up over 10 minutes right now. And my goal for this class is to make check-in videos that are only a couple minutes long. And I appreciate your time. I want to make sure that you know that I'm here for you. I'm usually in the office early in the morning. The best way to communicate with me is over the telephone. I know that that's not always available to you. Email's a secondary kind of communication, but essential in this world that we're living in right now. So you can certainly email me anytime. I do have informal office hours early in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays set aside for my online classes. If you don't have the same schedule as mine, don't worry about it. Just send me a text, send me an email that says these are the times that I'm available. I'll make sure that I get with you. Okay? I hope you have a lot of questions. You should have a lot of questions. And we just move the bar. You just improve yourself. You add a few tools to your toolbox, as I say it, in any of these classes. And sometimes you don't even realize you are. I mean, you're going to take some general required classes if you're going after a degree that you're going to go, wow, I don't know what I did this for. But 20 years later, you go, man, I'm glad that English comp teacher made me right, because I'm using that skill every day. Okay? I know these are things you probably may or may not be thinking about, but just know that I'm here for you, and I appreciate you, and we'll get on with the class, okay? Missions. Pretty essential point. And I really appreciate the fact that I get to be in on some of your mission development. Okay, it's just the initial point to all of this. It's called life. Okay, so anyway, take care and give me a call if you have any questions.